So for millions of Americans looking for work, the job hunt's getting harder. Job openings and hirings have fallen to multi-year lows. Last year, the U.S. added just 15,000 jobs a month on average, which is well below normal. Layoffs, though, are still low. Unemployment is steady. The economy's still growing, and economists say AI and outsourcing may be letting companies grow without hiring. Then that does fuel these kind of fears that there's a new normal, that there's a new era of jobless growth as we bring in Doug Flynn, certified financial planner, on this. And it's kind of like a different way of talking about the same question. And maybe the last jobs report is a good sign that we're getting things turned around. But you have, by some metrics, a decent economy growing. But what about jobs?
Yeah. Well, it is a concern because, as you mentioned about AI, that's a concern. There was some overhiring during COVID that they still didn't let a lot of those people go. The only layoffs we've seen have really been middle management, and of course, that's not great, but it's not massive layoffs. And then you've had a lot of immigration sort of tamped down, so we don't have like a lot of new people, which is entering into the equation. And so, you bake all that in, and that really says, on top of that also, one other thing, you have the federal payrolls cut. I think the most it was in decades. So you've got all that going on. I think there's two things. For the longest time, and I've been doing this for a little while, there were two numbers we always focused in on. It was inflation below 3% and unemployment below 5%. Unemployment below 5% is still considered full employment. And so the problem is, you're in the low 4% unemployment range.
Right.
And so it's not an easy thing when there's not a ton of people laid off and there hasn't been a lot of movement there. And so people are finding it's harder to find replacement jobs right now, but you could see that number stick around here and even creep up a little bit. That's not to be unexpected.
But just real quick on inflation, you said below 3%, and Fed target's 2%, but you're just saying on a personal level, that's where you'd like to, you're okay with it there.
They just made up 2%. I mean, if you go back 50, 100
Arbitrary,
years.
you're saying. Yep.
Yeah, the inflation rate's been 3% is excellent. Anything below 3% is really good. 2% is, why not just say 1.5? Like it's just that's their goal, and of course we'd like to have that, like to have it as low as possible. Historically, we don't really get there that often, so they keep hanging on. We're only going to lower rates if we get close to 2%. Well, anything in the 2s is good, so let's just get real there. Just like anything below 5 in unemployment is good. It doesn't mean everybody's doing great, but overall the numbers, and that's what I think you see. You see the growth happening, and just not everybody, it's not as good as it was.
Closing bell, 90 seconds away, Doug. So let me get tax tips in. It's Tax Tip Tuesday, which Doug brings us this time of year. Been doing it for a few years now, and then we'll get back to the Nancy Guthrie case of those developments. So first screen, let's put it up on the tax tips that Doug has for us. This week, traditional IRA contributions is one of the ones that you're talking about. Roth IRA contributions, HSA contributions as well. And there you go. You can take it from there. So what's the big thing this week?
Yeah, so the thing is that just because the tax year is over doesn't mean that, retirement planning is over, because you do get a grace period. And it's interesting because Congress deliberately allows you until April 15th for these certain deductions if you qualify. And what I would say is when you of course, ask your accountant, or if you're doing it yourself, find out if you do qualify, because it might mean if you put some money away for yourself that you're going to get a tax break. And the thing is, you have to be careful, because when you put an IRA contribution in, or any retirement contribution in now between January and April, or between January and October if you're self-employed and using those, the system will default to current year. You have to make sure you're telling them it's for the prior year.
Okay.
And so, that can save you some money on taxes if you qualify, and I think it's really something that people should take a look at, even if they've already taken care of their 401k. Just before you file, is there anything that I can also save? You do get this opportunity to do it. You don't get a lot to do past December 31st. This is one of those that you should definitely look at.
Very good, Doug. We'll leave it there for today, 4 p.m. Eastern exactly, which is the